even in the Fawn, among the Vodun tradition, their god is called Mawu Lisa, and the Mawu is the male version or the male aspect. Then Lisa is the feminine. So for you to have any creation, okay, both needs to be together. Right. Yeah. So again, we're dealing with this principle of creating life. It's not a man stuck in a place.
Stuck in there. So how does nature tie into creator?
Absolutely. Brilliant question, by the way. So the other concept, we're now on the third, as where we look at the creator as nature itself. Now, when you look at nature, first of all, nature is where we find the food that we eat. The food grows from the earth. Yes. So the earth itself, this is why you find that we have references to Mother Earth. Because it's the mother who's doing what? Giving birth to the foods that we need to eat. Right. Without those plants, vegetables, all of that, we cannot sustain life. Even the meat that we eat, we get from nature, the animals. Yes, the fishes in the sea. It's nature that sustains human life. Again, it's not some invisible being in the sky. So the African worldview looks to, because it's not really about, I guess, dealing with things that are not always unseen, if you will. It needs to have a function that can be related to how we live. So you look at nature to understand how the creative source, because it's an expansive concept in African spirituality. Yes, it's, if we're talking about the creator and we have all these stories and God created the earth or this and that, the creator cannot be separate from his creations. Rather, it's in every aspect of his creation. Right. Yeah. So
in the sorry to cut you, but in the concept of if we go back to the Nile Valley, right? So you have Amen-Ra, right? So in the Nile Valley culture, Amen was the hidden spirit, the hidden that we believe exists. However, Ra was the physical manifestation, as in the sun, of this spirit. So, like you were saying, the human being needs to understand this hidden by something physical, by using something physical. And so, so in that concept, the most physical representation that we had within what we could view was the sun. Yeah, it was the most powerful representation. So the hidden, so to understand, like you said, to understand the hidden, you must understand nature.
Absolutely, the physical, because the sun, again, undisputable. Without the sun, plants can't even grow on this planet. And you see, is an excellent point that you brought up about Amen-Ra, which I'll just touch on it briefly. I know it will come back again in our conversation. But you see, you've touched on a very important aspect, Sarah, because if you check it, when a human being dies, science will tell you there's certain grams of your body weight that disappears, that we cannot find. Yeah? There's this is what in the African worldview, or even generally, we refer to as your spirit, because there's an aspect of you which is like your consciousness, really, because we cannot find your thoughts, your memories, either when you leave the body. So Amen-Ra is actually a very, should we say, significant representation of you in the world, because even the human being, you have a hidden aspect that you never know. You just see your physical interacting in this realm. Yeah. So, and I think that gone.
Sorry, going back to nature. So what other in your experience from your research, what other concepts within creator throughout Africa have to have a symbiotic relationship, let's say, with nature and creator? Is that a running theme throughout them all?
Absolutely, all of them, all the concepts. You see, what we use to guide our research, and I'll come back to that, and then I'll draw back on it, is in all our readings, it's actually very evident. Yeah. So, for instance, what you might call Haitian voodoo, it's derived from Benin voodoo or Ewe voodoo in Western Africa. It didn't just appear in Haiti. It's a continuation of the traditions. So what we realized is most scholars who've touched on this topic, what they tend to do is they fall into, really, maybe it's not their fault, it could also be just what they're exposed to. So somebody will write only on Haitian voodoo, and then you will look at Haitian voodoo and think it's not related in any way to the rest of the African traditions. It's just Haitian voodoo. Yeah. And then you have certain African scholars like John Mbiti, like J.B. Dankwa, who wrote, for instance, about the Akan spiritual traditions. Yes. But then they keep it only in the Akan. So what we saw is that people have all these piecemeal understandings. They think we're looking at different concepts. Our research, we took it to the connecting aspects. Yes. What we find through all of them. What unites them into what most scholars are calling African spiritual systems. So yes, nature is a very, again, undercurrent through all of them. So if we go there's absolutely none, you won't find this concept. Go on.
And I just want to kind of touch on how nature and the principles of nature are there to teach us, and how it kind of feeds itself into the spiritual system. So if you go back to the Nile Valley again, you have the eye. The eye of Heru, and the eye is represented by the falcon that used to fly in and around the Nile Valley, and they used to study this animal. So when you study the animal, what they realized is that its sight, from where it is high in the sky and it can see the prey on the ground, its eye must be like no other eye, right? So
absolutely, yes.
They had the representation of its eye, because it's like no other, as the eye of the creator or the savior, let's say.
Absolutely. And you know, again, these same very brilliant point that you touched upon, the study of nature to inform the society.
Yes.
Yeah. Because nature is that all encompassing. Yeah, all the different aspects to nature. And I'll add some more to that. So apart from that all-seeing eye, again, this then feeds back into the concept where this all-seeing eye has now been turned into, if you look in the Muslim tradition, they have the eye now, and it's meant to be an eye of protection, because it's meant to be able to see everything.
Everything,
Yes, everything is within its vision. One of the other principles that we see again, and again, this is also found in all, in the Asian Nile Valley, they have this principle of Herukuti, which you will find in the Yoruba tradition. Again, it's now known as Ogun. If you look in the Akan tradition, he's known as Dadie Kofi. And this has to do with the principle of iron. Now, when you look at iron, Sarah, right, what is the main component of your blood, the blood that keeps you alive?
Iron.
So again, you see that the African studies nature to understand themselves.
Right.
Yes. So when we're talking about these natural forces, I know this is not the stage for us to talk about it in depth, but I'm feeding that in here because it's relevant. So when you look at the principle of iron, we find that iron again is also a metal found in the ground.
Right.
Yes. Iron also happens to be a component of the human being. So again, the human being is not different to the nature.
Right.
Okay. The human being is an extension of nature. And I'll put that into the next idea, which is about God or the creator being your first ancestor.